No, I only see the 4 attachments. One says media, one says menu, and one is the chart.
Oh, the agenda one there.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Hey, Virginia, this is a courtesy. Can you call them both real quick?
A friend.
I have on mute.
Let me see if I can get Christina too, because I
Yeah,
don't.
for anyone.
Hey.
Okay, the agenda should be in there now. So while we're waiting a few more minutes, I guess there was a notice for public input to go in to check. But if you're here and you're gonna, or you're interested in doing public input, just in the chat, let me know, just put your name and public input and we'll put you on that portion.
All right, 2 more minutes and I'm commencing the meeting.
Another little thing that I added to this meeting is if you look at the bottom, I'm not sure if you could see it, but I did put the closed captioning as a lot of times when we're dealing with digital media as part of the ADA requirements and such. They usually, if we have access to this part of technology, they ask that we use it. So that's why you see all right, so either Gabe nor Shannon are answering.
Okay. All right, I call this meeting to order.
All right, 209. Okay.
Can you get a
roll call?
roll call?
Kutik Bakta,
Present.
Shauna, Georgina Ortega,
Present.
Alan Elfelt, and Gabe. Okay, we have 3 present. That doesn't meet the quorum.
Okay. Let's go with approval of agenda. If there's not any discussion, if I can entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make the motion that we approve the agenda.
Okay. All right, and I have a second by Alan, representing a thumbs up.
Okay. So that's approval of agenda. We have a motion by Georgina, second by Alan. Alan Ackel? Yes. Kutik Swaka?
Yes.
And Georgina Ortega.
Yes.
All right, moving on to finance report.
And on the finance report, I'll let Jill take over since him and Chuck have been working on that.
Okay, we have 146,120 available for the budget. We've got wayfinding of 26,000 that's set aside for that project, which will be in the new year. We've got 26,000 that's been approved by council for the visitor's guide, which is kind of, I guess, in a holding pattern. We have $33,586 in other miscellaneous encumbrances. And on the financial report that I sent out, I left including wayfinding, and I've got to take that off from the previous one. So that wayfinding is not included in that number. And then we have 11,938 of unused optic ad monies that was in the financial report encumbrances, so I added that back in. We also have the tourism and design software that's up for approval of $3,565.94. So 146,120 for the budget. And that's current balances as of last week, Thursday, Friday.
Okay. Hey, sorry, Virginia, is there also a call-in number for the meeting? So maybe Alan could call in because I think he's having audio issues.
Yeah, Ellen, here he is.
So if there's a call-in number as well, I don't know if I saw it on the.
Yeah, there was a call-in number.
Oh, there is. So maybe if he joins by phone.
Yeah, let me see.
Because we're going to get into discussion here. It's going to be hard if he can't communicate with us. Here, I'll try to paste it for him. Let's see. Join by phone. There it is.
Are you going to send it, Krutek?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was just getting ready to do that.
And so, Bill, on the miscellaneous encumbrances, I'm guessing like that's visitor center and so on.
I'm sorry, say that again?
On the miscellaneous encumbrances, is that like the rest of the budget for visitor center and so on?
No, those are all items that that have been approved in the budget and have not been paid yet. So some of that could be like Friends of the Museum, they haven't billed us yet. The Arts Council hasn't billed us yet. Things like that.
Okay.
So can I speak?
Yes, Regina.
So the miscellaneous encumbrances with wayfinding, those are all things that were approved prior to all of the COVID. That's what this money is put aside for, is for expenditures that were already approved. We're just waiting for accounts receivable. Is that it?
That's correct.
Okay, and everything has contracts, and we got all of the details as to what we were supposed to be expecting, as far as deliverables.
Well, like I said, those monies that are encumbered we have not received anything yet, and they are required to get it submitted before, what was it, sometime about the 19th of June. Is that, Virginia, does that date sound familiar? Something like that, 16th or 19th, so we can close out the books. You're muted. You're muted, Virginia. Here we go.
All the contracts for this previous fiscal year run up to June 30th. And so they will end June 30th. Unless there was any that were done later in the year. For example, the business guide, that needs to be done. However, the rest of them have already been done, and we're just waiting for them to complete the projects so that we can get their funding to them.
All right.
I logged in on the phone as well. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yay.
All right. Okay. So is there any other discussion on the finance report?
I did have a question.
Go ahead.
So we have unused optic ad monies. I wonder what we're doing with that. And I have a general concern, which is, as you know, of course, small town newspapers like radio stations everywhere are folding with the collapse of advertising monies. And I'm just worried, if we're thinking we're going to spend $12,000 with them and now we're not, what that's going to do to a small town newspaper, and whether there are things that we could do maybe that would be helpful to keep the optic going. So we may not be advertising, for example, events, but maybe we could be advertising what the city and Rogers Tax is doing and what hotels and restaurants in Las Vegas are doing with respect to the current crisis. I'm just worried about that money not being spent.
So you know where I'm going with this. Is there a way we can convert it to their digital ads on their digital newspaper?
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, they are doing. I get constant stuff from them. I think they're doing a good job digitally as well.
Yeah,
I'm just worried
this
about
might push into that footprint to kind of get them in that range, because that's it went from hybrid to now for print and digital to a lot of the newspapers that were going under. The ones that are surviving have transitioned to digital and have a good following. So I would agree, if we can't do it one way, if we can say, hey, maybe they could come back to us with a proposal to use this monies digitally if we can't get it in the print. Because
Yeah,
then
Bill,
the money,
you know-
the money is the cost in printing. So for them, this might go a longer way if we can go digital.
Well, I guess you can consider that, and, I mean, it's not like the money's gonna go away, so you can always, we've got on the agenda to, I thought we had it on the agenda to talk about the budget meeting. You guys need to have a budget meeting, so this is one of the things you can discuss in there if you wanna spend some money advertising that way.
Yeah, I would imagine the topic for the next meeting is approval of budget, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Any other discussion on the finance report?
So is it okay with you guys if I contact Bill Scherer just to kind of get an update on that for our budget meeting?
I don't have any problems with it. No, I think it would be great. I mean, I'm liking that notion. And then if it's a digital notion again, the majority of stuff we can track what the paper is able to do for us with the impression. So they'll be able to track it too, and hopefully that keeps growing. And we're able to budget more and more for that.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
With Virginia working on all of this stuff here, what is she aware of what the Opti can handle? What is their capabilities? Is she aware of any of the digital formats and all this other stuff, so we don't have to start from scratch? Maybe she already has an idea or has seen their stuff. Is there any way we can get input from her?
Sure. Virginia, if you...
Yeah, so the optics does have some digital marketing available. As far as I know, they have their website and then they have Facebook. As far as I know, that's the extent of it. But we could get in contact with them and see what they have available. This money was supposed to be used to advertise in all forms with them anyway, so maybe we can start the recovery process with advertising through them and using that money. But we can definitely get in touch with them and see if they have anything new available, considering that a lot of places have adjusted to this new digital platform with everything going on.
Yeah, Georgina, I can speak to that. I have a digital subscription to the Optic, and they do a good job about posting. I get something from them pretty much every day. So I don't know how their advertising is set up, but I know that their general reporting is posted all the time.
Oh, okay, I would just like to also have Virginia's input on that because she's the one that will be working with it. So, I mean, that's great if you're already receiving some of their digital formatting, but just to see how we can transfer that money over to use in a digital format, that would be fabulous. And instead of it sitting there, and you are right, Alan, about small town businesses folding. We need to make sure that we don't lose track of that funding because it is a nice chunk of money. Thank you.
One idea we could do that, because you did mention small businesses, is as we reopen, we can maybe do an ad saying, our small businesses are now open, go visit them, or something to promote that part of the recovery process. I mean, if that's something you guys are interested in doing.
Meaning like an announcement, like for what capacity and what, where everyone is as far as being open. Is that what you mean? Are all the businesses in town?
Right. Like Albuquerque is doing this new thing. Albuquerque is open for takeout. And we come up with a little slogan for Las Vegas and we'll start promoting that, and we'll get, even if it's just our local people, start getting them into our small businesses again.
Okay.
I think that's a really good idea.
I think that's pretty clear. So Alan, yeah, have that conversation, and then they can be in touch with Virginia, so we can work together and get something done with it. All right. If there's not
May I
any more,
say something?
go ahead, Virginia.
Okay. I want to add something to that. I don't know if you all saw the ad about Las Vegas, Nevada's, how they're opening up and the new format that they're using. It's a really good information as to how they're going to start opening up the city. And I thought, wow, we should be looking at some of the stuff they're doing and putting out public, as far as opening up their businesses and how they're doing it and how they're educating the public on how they're going to do it. So I don't know, it's on national TV. So you'll see, just keep your eyes open for it and you'll see what I'm talking about as far as, educating the public as to how we are going to open, how the businesses are going to, what they're going to expect from the public, So it's not just you come to a store and you're going to expect to be open, free and everything, and it's not. So, it's really a nice awareness campaign.
I'm actually glad you brought that up, Georgina, because with the tourism department, they're doing the same thing for New Mexico, and we've opted in to that program that they're creating for recovery and also for the marketing and promotions of the recovery process for New Mexico. So we are in touch with the state tourism department so that we can utilize that and kind of have that same effect that you're talking about with Las Vegas, Nevada.
Good.
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll I mean, what we'll try to do is have some when we have this conversation, have some feedback from other businesses. We're really hoping Sean or Gabe we'd be on it because we also need their input from the restaurant's perspective, restaurateur's perspective, and so on, because those are that's quite a. I mean, retail just opened, but the majority of the restaurateurs, I know they're really aching to get back open. So that's some feedback we'd like to have. And I think that'd be the announcement is what the restaurants are going to be doing when we get the call to open up again. All right. If there's no more discussion, we can move on to public input.
Hey, Kritik, I have another question. Sorry. Bill or Virginia, do you guys know the status of the wayfinding? Is there a schedule for production of any of that? What's going to happen with that?
No, we haven't gotten that far yet. Robert is going to be working on that. We're actually combining up a couple contracts together, so we can do it under one bid.
I'm glad you brought that up, Alan. It's why I had it on the agenda on the last run. I was concerned that we had stalled on that or hadn't heard anything from it because, well, at first I thought it was because we didn't have a meeting, but then I didn't hear much of anything new. In fact, we were having a conversation of the same things of adding an another point that's important on Grand Avenue to lead in. So we repeated that discussion. So I would like to see some progress on this. We did make an investment, so we needed. I figured by this stage we'd have signs. Is what my honest opinion. So hopefully we can execute on this. I mean, it hasn't been because we haven't been able to execute on giving providing funding. Now we may have some issues, but originally that wasn't the case. So hopefully we can get going and execute on that. I'm glad you brought that up.
Let me add one thing to this. So, and I reported it at the Main Street the meeting. The wayfinding is short 24 grand to do it complete. The estimate is from the architects is around 52,000, and we have the 26 that's been approved from through lodger's tax. So that's only half a project.
Right, but if I didn't see the second request. If that was put in front of us, I'm sure we could execute on it quickly. That's why it was on the last item. So if we can get that in front of us and figure out how to fund it, we can talk about it and try to get it worked through. I just don't want it to be another project where we partially fund and nothing happens.
Yeah. No, it'd be nice to get it done. I agree.
All right.
So Bill, to that point, you can see the infrastructure available on the budget you gave us is 16,774. So that's not enough to come up with the remaining balance. So we'd have to move some money around or lift the restriction or something to get to that number. But it has been a priority for us for a long time, and this would be an ideal time to get that work done. So if maybe for our next meeting, you could come back to us with an updated budget and a funding request, I think we would look on that favorably.
Well, even the wayfinding, the 26 grand for wayfindings technically should come out of infrastructure. So whether we move some money around, I mean, it comes out of the $146,000 anyway, one way or the other.
And just so we're still into the finance. At some point in time, I know this has been deferred, but at some point in time, just so we have some information, I still think you should have at least the lodger's tax report from each hotel, so you have some idea. I know we've been under the impression of 25%. I think it's more than that. I know it was definitely 25% for a good amount of time for me. Until I ran into an essential services contract, and that helped a good point for one of my hotels. So I'm wondering if that's the same thing that's happening with any of the other hotels for it. For some of the work, as we've seen, some of the essential services are continuing to go on. There's other things that I couldn't take on, but I'm hoping that the other hotels could take it on. And again, that would contribute to lodger's tax. But this was a deferral of lodger's tax. I'm assuming whatever we're collecting is still going to be collected. So I think there needs to be a plan when we exit on how this is going to be paid. But in the meantime, I think it at least should be reported. Was everybody understanding what I was saying there? Sometimes I'm long-winded.
I was just going to go look and see what was the last collection date. We have is April. So I haven't seen May. Of course, we haven't seen May's yet. So.
Right. So what we can do, usually it would just be a letter just saying, hey, yes, we are deferring, but we're asking all the hotels to at least send in their lodger's tax report, so we have some idea of what monies that we will be collecting, so we don't have assumptions.
Oh, okay. I didn't know there was such a thing. Okay.
Yeah. So we turn in, when we make our payments, we turn in a form with the payment saying this is what our what we collected. This is what we owe the city for lodger's tax. That's with our payment. So, okay, the payments are deferred. We can still ask to have the forms provided, and at least that will give us information on what we anticipate to collect after this deferral is over for for this time period. So it gives us a kind of a better answer for what's happening. We don't have to make the assumption that we're only operating under this percentage. We can have the actual numbers. So if the city, writes a letter to all the hotels saying, look, yes, the deferral is still in place, but we'd still like you to send us your reports for these missing months, then we'll have a better idea of what's going to be collected.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, I mentioned that on the last meeting as well. It's just an easier way to figure out what's actually happening. I mean, if they send you that report, that's what they're going to be supposed to be paying the city. Okay. Any more questions on the, any more discussion on the finance report? All right, we're moving on to public input. Not to exceed 3 minutes per person, and everybody needs to sign up 15 minutes before.
And I don't have anybody that mentioned anything about public input. So we have none at this time.
Okay, all right. So we will move on. All right, agenda. So approval, disapproval of LFIBA New Mexico True Advertising.
And
All right.
if you don't have those attachments in front of you, along with WIDs, I did include those in those attachments there.
Okay. Okay. Well, on the discussion, I mean, look, the New Mexico True stuff is pretty good, and it's presented really well, and they've got it set up for you. Yeah. So wow. So it's really just about selecting packages here. I'm hoping everybody got a chance to look through what was sent to us. But the biggest things, that I wanted to bring up, I mean, New Mexico True brings it up, and I think it's correct. And so the geographic targets. And then for the things that IBA is pointing at too, my thing is if they could widen the scope a little bit to the geographics that New Mexico True is also pointing out too. But look, in-state Albuquerque, Santa Fe. Las Cruces, El Paso is in there, but I'm not sure if I saw too much on that because I think it was more of a focus on Albuquerque, Santa Fe. But the drive market right in the middle, West Texas, okay, Lubbock, Amarillo, Midland, Odessa, and then Colorado Springs and Pueblo were in there. For my experience with the hotels, if anybody asks, I mean, West Texas is very important. And for West Texas and Colorado is very important for us. I agree with Albuquerque and Santa Fe, but the amount of my hotels, for the amount of people that we do have drive through from West Texas and Colorado, especially even during this recovery time of what I've seen, it's important. I don't think that it can't not be focused on. I think there's, as far as demographics coming from those areas, I do believe that they have money to spend in our town and stay in our town. And so I think there needs to be some focus on that. I don't think that's too far of a drive market. We're in northeastern New Mexico, so I think that's important to address how close we are, to West Texas there and to Colorado. So on the selection, I did notice from you. Hey, Virginia, can you go through your selections again? I know I was trying to read through that spreadsheet that you sent.
Yeah.
But was there an area in there where you could say, I know you selected packages, right? So was it really just about selecting the package that included something with Texas or Colorado? If you wanted to do that, or could you do some of the other campaigns and say, hey, this is all going to reach the digital campaign?
So the final package that we put together includes the New Mexico True Adventure Guide, but I don't see anything with Texas, Dallas, Denver. We have all those available, but I don't see any of those chosen. I see not, and we also have, there's a Texas Monthly. The only ones I see is the New Mexico Magazine and the Albuquerque Magazine and the New Mexico True Guide.
Okay.
So we have those options available.
Well, I don't have any issues, and just I don't have any issues. I think it's a good strategy to target Albuquerque, but I think we're really missing just from the demographics I see to come. This is information for you guys from to my hotels. I think we're missing a good portion here. We have surrounding economies, that are doing better than New Mexico, and to be able to catch the area, this drive market that are very close. I think it's really important. If we want to improve our tourism, we got to take at least some of the people that are within 4 hours reach of driving to us. Albuquerque is a big market. I agree on that. I disagree on.
Oh, Annette, this is Wid. Can you get me through to Virginia right away?
Wid, we can hear you. So if you wanted to talk to Virginia directly, you can just talk.
Oh. No, I didn't know you could hear me.
Right. So yeah, so I think both of those in there. So I think your recommendations. The only thing I'm wary of on your email, Virginia, you had the Texas Monthly on there. The only thing I didn't like about it is, yes, it's a magazine, correct? It's not their online.
Right. Well, I was just looking at the demographics, like I said, to try to reach out in New Mexico.
Right.
There are other ones, but they're pretty much most of these are magazines. New Mexico Magazine, New Mexico, the Adventure, New Mexico Adventure Guide, Albuquerque Magazine. All of those publications are basically magazines.
And so on the New Mexico, I don't know if I think the package we selected it also is part of their digital presence.
They do have digital ones available, yes. But as far as the print goes, all of the print is magazines.
Well, look, guys, the reason I'm stressing it, when you look through the New Mexico True stuff, there's an area where it says PMI. It's PMI. Where is that?
Sorry, Win has a comment or a question.
Go ahead.
Krujic, can I get in for just a second? The overall proposal is 82% digital, and that digital can be geographically targeted just the way you say. In terms
so we're not
of magazines, we may not have done Albuquerque or Amarillo magazine, but we can do Amarillo through Facebook and Travel and TripAdvisor and the other things that come in the package.
Okay.
Related to that,
go ahead.
Just a comment related to that. I spoke to Secretary Schreier this morning. There is a separate working group being set up for direct marketing organizations, and they like you, Kritik, are focused on shifting more and more to digital marketing. So I'm sure that will be more and more the focus of the New Mexico True campaign going forward.
Okay. Yeah, I noticed that with that percentage was there. My only concern is that if we were just tenting ourselves too much into just the one Albuquerque market, when we could be, I have this feeling that even the really close surrounding areas, they're going to want to kind of get out of their own area. So we want to make sure that we're not, underserving West Texas and Colorado here, in Arizona. I do think that we are close enough here that we could grab some of those, and a good portion of that market will be spending a longer period of time here, meeting several shops, several restaurants, at least a couple of restaurants, and staying the night. That's the ideal demographic for that I see, anyways, for us. And so I just want to make sure that for this focus that we encompass some of that. So if we can do that with the existing presence and say, hey, let's target some of that area, and we're just not tenting one spot, then I'm okay with that.
To move the discussion along, I would move to approve the New Mexico True advertising campaign.
Yeah. Was there any other concerns, Virginia? You're probably you and Wid are the most well versed on this going on. So I want to say welcome back as well. Is there any other concerns that you see? I know you said on the Texas Monthly. So if you want to push on that any harder, or if you think we're good to go either way.
No, the only suggestion I had made is we really, because I noticed up here we have another video shoot and photo shoot, and I don't really think we need that. I think we should focus on maybe getting one of these outside ones, like maybe Denver, Dallas, whichever one you guys feel comfortable with, instead of spending that money on more production, which I believe we don't need at this time.
Okay. Okay. All right. If there's not any more discussion, then I will entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Need a second?
I'll second it.
All right.
All right, so we have a motion to approve the New Mexico Chew by Alan, a second by Georgina. Tutek Bakta,
Yes.
Alan Alfelt,
Yes.
and Georgina Ortega.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes.
All right. Moving on to approve, disapprove, City of Las Vegas City Tourism website and the Film Tourism website. Now, just quickly, Virginia, what was the total amount? I know you said it to me last time.
I believe it was 13. Hold on, I don't remember the exact amount on that one.
I know I had it here.
We had the tourism and film websites was a total of 1721.
1,721. Okay.
And the design software was 1844.
Yeah, I believe so. So I think we had the conversation last time, so it's pretty clear on what kind of, or just so a lot of these are renewals, licenses, and the software is to help you do what you need to do when we can do it, right? Virginia and staff, this is mainly you.
And before you get into that critic, I know last time you asked me for something, so I'm going to go ahead and share something with you real quick. I'm sharing the screen with you all to show you kind of, you wanted an update on the analytics. I didn't get that in time for this meeting. Of course, I'll be presenting it to your regular meetings. But just to get an idea, this is from July 1st of the fiscal year till April 30th. And as you can see, the top pages here. Of course, it's changed for this month. We have a COVID information page, which is reaching a lot more people. And part of the fiestas here at the top was from last year's fiestas as it rolled into the new fiscal year. Also, we can see the goal value of the completions and goals that we have set. We've got, this is up to date. So I just kind of wanted to give you an idea of what it looks like currently. So this is our users. Our bounce rate, which is really great, has gone down, thank goodness. We're getting more people to stay on the website rather than just hitting one page and leaving. So I just kind of wanted to show you that also. And don't forget why this, it's just because of the COVID thing. So another, let me get you back in here real quick. So another one of the ones I kind of want to show you just so we see is we do have this system where we grade the websites. Again, it's kind of low because of the overload of the COVID information that we're providing. I'm working on making that a little bit easier, but as you can see, our search engine optimization, our SEO is excellent. Our security is excellent. The performance usually is really high up there. We usually have about a 93 rate on this. But as you can see, because of the amount of requests and things like that that are coming in, it's slowing us down and it's causing that grade to drop. But I mean, you can see our images are getting put to the right sizes. Our redirects are coming through again. We're getting that browser catching. Our page sizes are at the minimal to be able to get in and out of that website as fast as possible. But you had asked for this information to be at the meetings regularly, but since we were talking about the website today, I kind of wanted to give you guys that overview on the website.
Okay. No, absolutely. Yeah, that's great. What we'll try to do is just have it as an agenda item for each meeting, so we get that update. And since we are, I mean, for the good portion now going forward with digital, I mean, this is the exact points that we can discuss now. Now that we have, with digital, we can have actual reports in front of us, how many people saw it, where they came from, and so on. So we can together have a strategy of going forward of how we'd make our budget, where things would go. So yeah, I'm glad you were able to bring that up. Maybe if some of the times you can export the reports and send it out as part of the packet, so we can take a look before we have the meeting, so we can talk about it during the meeting. So thanks for that. Thanks for that update.
And I will all make sure they get put in there for regular meetings.
Okay. All right.
Thank you. That's really helpful information as we're moving forward with the digital platform. I really like that.
Right, and also, so you know, I'm not gonna do this in each report but so you guys get an idea, I'm gonna share this with you real quick again. Over here on the left-hand side, we can pull up any information we need to in the future. If we want to know about traffic, if we want to know about audience demographics, interests, what they're interested in. I mean, for example, if we pull it up, it gives you pretty much all that information, you know, some food, dining, lifestyle, whatever they might be interested in. We also have access to all the information as far as behaviors. There's so much information we have available through this analytics. So moving forward, when we do digital, we're going to be able to access all of this for that.
Okay.
For whatever we put up.
So this portion is the Visit Las Vegas NM website, right?
Right.
And so the hope is, I know I saw a bunch of other channels here, but my hope is, and it says it on each one, it has impressions for the KPI. So each one of these digital ones, the good news is it's trackable. So we should have data for each one of these digital channels we're investing in. So maybe we could just gather them all, and then we could see what's working. I'm betting the state does the same thing. They had to have had some rationale on how they were selecting these packages and how they did it. And trackability was probably high up there when they for what they wanted to do. So I'm sure they select by impact, or I'm hoping they do. And so we could do some of that of our own when we're, then we could look on next year's package. We could figure different things out based on what we feel is helping us the most. Well, not feel, using data to tell us what's helping us the most. All right. If I can entertain a motion for City of Las Vegas City Tourism website and Phil Tourism website.
So moved.
Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
All right.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the funding for the tourism website and film website by Alan, a second by Georgina. Trutek Wakta,
Yes.
Alan Alfeld,
Yes.
and Georgina Ortega Angel.
Yes.
All right, motion's approved and passes.
All right. Approve, disapprove City of Las Vegas marketing software. I think it's pretty clear on what we were doing there. So if there's not any other discussion, I could go straight to entertain the motion.
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Is there anybody else there besides me?
No,
It's just,
It's just
Okay. I approve. Yes. Yes.
okay, I have a motion to approve the software by Alan Alfeld, a second by Georgina Ortega Angel. Pitek Bakta,
Yes.
Alan Alfo,
Yes.
and Georgina Ortega Angel.
Yes.
All right, motion passes and approves.
All right. We're into discussion items and new and other business. The only thing I have for new and other business, and I think we talked about earlier, we've got some work ahead of us, but my hope is we have some more data before that comes in. So hopefully we can get some reports from each one of the hotels there, so we have a better idea of budget. But it's going to be it's always rough, but it's going to be kind of hard for our next meeting talking about budget when we have some question marks. So I guess I would begin to think about that for the next meeting for any questions and concerns we have. Does anyone else have any new or other business? Okay. So if we don't, then I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Here.
All right.
We have a motion to adjourn by Alan, a second by Georgina. Pitek Bakta,
Yes.
Alan Alfo,
Yes.
and Georgina Ortega Angel.
Yes.
right.
Motion approved.
Meeting adjourned. We'll see you guys.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Virginia.
Have a good evening. Be safe, everyone.